Welcome back, and for the first time this year, we're going to be checking out a scrim from the point of view of OpTic ENVOY. I don't know, it just sounds so weird to say something like that as of right now, but that's what we're at right now. We're on board with ENVOY as they go to battle against the Florida Mutineers. So we've broken down scrims against LA Thieves and against Dallas and against Atlanta and against a couple other teams, but we've yet to break down a scrim against Florida, so that's what we are doing here. I will say overall, they basically split maps. This scrim was from a couple days ago. They had the Totino's tournament and a couple other tournaments that they were in, so they haven't streamed their scrims for a couple days now, but still, this is one that we didn't actually look at. So as we're watching this one, they're down 0-13 here at the beginning of P1, but it's not all that big of a deal because as you'll see more and more as we get further into the season, they did get that initial spawn for P2. So at this point in time, if anything that you can get inside of P1 is really just a bonus for these guys. All they're really trying to do is just hold down these spawns. And the fact that they've been able to go up 20-13, that's just a plus. It's probably not great that they don't have anybody getting time for the first 5 seconds there, but that's okay. Neither here nor there. So 50 seconds left, and I will say that when it comes to Florida, because again, we haven't really covered them yet, they're playing with Slacked. So you have Awakening, you have Havoc, you have Skies, and you have Slacked in the place that Pharaoh used to be playing. Rest in peace, Pharaoh. Again, if you haven't seen my video on that, I made one a couple weeks ago. But right now, we're inside of P2. We got 30 seconds left, and they're doing a nice job of just getting kills in that choke point up by Lobby on the top-hand side of the map. Looks like Formal was able to kill Skies, who just got a couple kills up towards there. And I will say, as they're rotating out right now, they did a really nice job inside of P2. They're going to get the rest of that time inside of P2. But they are a little bit late in terms of rotations. Normally, and if you've played this game in pubs at all, this map and mode in pubs, normally around 35 seconds or so, you want to start rotating out because this is a really long route by the time you get all the way through bank and back behind P3. And you want to make sure you get that because that's the beneficial spawn for not only P3, but for P4 as well. So for the first time today, let's go ahead, let's bring up our mini map so we can talk through and show exactly what we're talking about there on rotation. So obviously we were inside of P2, and when we're talking about rotations, the problem is, if you just leave P2 and you hit through top Eskies and you try to hit the front of P3 right here, even if you're successful, you're going to get inside of P3. And when you get inside of P3, the enemy team, in this case, Florida, is just going to get this back spawn. They're going to push back into P3, and they can just do that over and over again. Eventually, these are pro teams, so eventually they're going to win a gun battle or two, especially since they'll have the height advantage in that gun battle. They'll take over P3, so that's not necessarily what you're looking for there. So going back to P2, normally this is such a long route, but if you want to be successful in P3 and P4, when you leave here, sure, if you want to cut through mid, that's absolutely fine, but normally your main AR will come all the way out here by statue, cut through P4. Now, when they get here, again, there's a couple routes that you can take. You don't have to do the same thing every time, but the goal is to get back to this part of the map. So normally what you'll see here is you'll see a main AR or a flex or somebody like that cut through bank here and then get around back. And if you can get around back and just wait for your teammates to come through behind you, then you can push forward. You get a couple kills right in here. You're going to get those back spawns, and essentially what that's going to do is it's going to take Florida, if this was to be successful, and spawn them out over here towards P2, and now they have to hit this choke point, and that's really what you're working for there. So that's kind of what we saw. That's what I was talking about in the last 20 seconds or so right there as we were watching the gameplay. It's just, it took them a little bit longer than you'd expect to make that rotation, and that's what you're seeing right here. It's not like it's gonna cost them the game or anything. It's just a little bit later than what's ideal, right? If you had to draw up the perfect game plan for how to go about, bad smoke there, I actually hit the wall right there, but if you had to draw up the perfect game plan for how to win on Moscow Hardpoint, it would be rotating maybe just a tiny bit earlier and winning those rotations. So as we go over towards P4, which we just drew up on the map also, they're going to get inside of P4, and it's almost the same thing. Now, I will say this one is kind of like P1 in that you can earn time inside of P4 from either side. So it's not like you have to have this left-hand side of the map spawn, but you just have a better chance if you hold from the left, because once you get in, those head glitches are a lot dirtier from the left-hand side of the map than they are from the right side. But as of right now, Scump and Envoy are doing a really nice job of just being pushed beyond the hard point a little bit, and they're really just not allowing Florida to get anywhere close. And with that, 30 seconds are already off the hard point, and just as of right now, Florida's making their way in. So if we're looking ahead here, it might not have been the best way to go about P3 and P4, but they're going to have the lead as it goes into the second set of rotations. And at least at the beginning there, it looked like they were going to have spawns. That's a little bit of a worrisome spawn there from Envoy, the fact that he spawned over towards P3 instead of getting that P2 spawn. So if you're Chicago, all that's telling you is that, okay, they're trying to push this out. Somebody's gotten beyond P1 or somebody's already through P1 over towards P2 as they try to go forward and push that out. And again, another spawn here from Envoy. So there's somebody back towards P2, whether it's inside P2 or up in the building above. They could also be in that CDOM building, or they could just be hiding all the way in the back of those initial beginning of the map spawn. So right here, as you're watching this battle take place inside of P1, just trying to watch where Envoy spawns. And in this one, he spawned by the CDOM building. So now it seems like they've been able to overtake this spawn. So the last 19 seconds, if you want to give that up, that's fine. You're still going to end up having a 25, 30 point lead as it pops over towards P2, at which point you could go ahead, put together 40, 45, 50 seconds, basically get yourself to 200 points. If you're able to get to 200, then you've basically sealed the deal. If it's somewhere close to 200 to 90 or something like that. So right now, P2 has just popped. We'll see them get inside the hard point. And as this happens, let's go ahead. Let's listen to their team comms. So that's the great things about scrims, is that we can go ahead. We can listen in. We can hear what they're talking about. We can hear about the strategy that's going on amongst teammates. So being that this game's new and these maps are new, we've only seen them a couple times so far. Let's go ahead. Let's listen in and hear exactly what OpTic Chicago is talking about as they progress through the second set of rotations here.
Push it.
You're going left. You're going left.
I'm already through left. I'm literally in the back spawn.
Esky's dead.
Esky's nice. You win. I'm looking middle.
Go to the back.
And I'll just say real quick, you can see on this rotation, there was like 30 seconds left, and you heard Scum saying, I'm already in the back. So, or in the bank. I don't know which one he said. But you can see up on the mini map, you can see that there's a blue arrow over there on his left. So this is more so how you would expect these rotations to go. Now, they've cleared out the back. Now they're pushing towards, and as they do, now they have spawns and they have control of the hill. This is much more what you'd like to see on rotations from P2 to P3.
Absolute.
I spawned in the back room. I think one's in our back. I think one's in our back. Watch that. Hey, one minute.
Our mid. Yeah, we have health.
Helping that.
One front. Absolute. I'm one shot from front.
Front now. I'm watching mid. I have all your middle.
I'm watching the back.
Yo, one's elbow. Elbow's user weak. Elbow dead. Havoc pushing mid. One more front.
Elbow dead.
Havoc middle. Just chilling. I don't know what he's doing. What the fuck?
Got him.
Nice.
Nothing in front yet.
I'm going now.
Could be in our mid. They could be in our middle right now.
Yeah, they could be.
Yeah, we should clear our mid. I feel like first.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll play the room.
I'm gonna wrap left.
Other guys watching it.
Middle.
Two of them.
I'll just stop this and I'll say real quick, I want to point out how their setup was, and there's a little bit of a chance for them, not necessarily to be broken, but if they were, I don't know, if this was a really tight game and they really needed a ton of time inside of P3, there was an opportunity for them to get cleared out of that P3 hardpoint and they wouldn't get flipped. But the way that they were set up, you had Envoy inside. You had, I think it was Formal right here. So Envoy is watching the push through the cut, which if somebody gets through that AR that's sitting up top, would probably go ahead and just be able to finish that. But as you're watching this, the other two players were watching the push through mid and the push through the back as they were trying to go through spawns. So even though I think this was Formal was watching this, if you're Florida and you're coming from these spawns and you go bottom eskies and you smoke off this area right here, that would allow you to hit elbow. And you heard them talking about ones in elbow. Envoy was able to get the kill on Slacked. He was the one that went elbow. But if their entire team's there, they're able to get inside of P3. They get this kill right here on Envoy. Now, all of a sudden, they're not going to flip spawns. But if you need to push through and just get by 10 or 15 seconds or so, get it to P4, where if you get it towards P4 and now you're already set up, as we saw Chicago do on the first set of rotations, now you have a pathway to come back. So as that was coming towards a close, I just wanted to make sure that we were explaining what was happening there, because there was a little bit of a potential there, not necessarily for them to win this map. They're up by 120 points, but if this was a close game and that wasn't something that they had held down, it really could come through to bite them. But 219 to 110, let's watch the finale here and listen in.
I'm just being annoying here.
Their window.
Try to kill Hill, Brandon.
He went small room or something.
Boss. Oh my god,
Small room?
Yo, he's weak, fella. Midding elbow,
I went small. I'm gonna play for spawn kills.
It could be back,
I'm pushing up.
Under plane dead. Back left.
They're all back room.
Plane.
Then
Plane on this one?
wait, I said plane?
No, I did.
I'm getting in there at gold.
One pitch me mid.
Mid dead.
Yo, back left.
In the bus.
I'm holding their mid right now.
Yeah, there's two at old.
Oh, I apologize.
I don't hit him with a nade.
More there.
Really weak. I don't even know. Bus, I think.
I got two.
Yeah, bus.
More there.
Back at dead.
I shoot up. Good initial. I'm going
Fine.
They're
Initial.
mid cold. They're middle cold.
Their middle hurt coming in.
I will say, as this is about to come to a close, something that you probably don't really expect is that Chicago did a really nice job of pushing forward through P4 and getting kills in that bank cut, both in the first set and the second set of rotations. That's not something that you anticipate happening, because if you're able to get those back spawns and you push out P4 from the bank side of the map, you really can control the vast majority of time inside of P4. So just the fact that they were able to push forward and use that hill to the advantage, even though they didn't have that initial time, that was really well done. So as you can see here, Envoy goes 24 and 16. Again, you got a 102 time inside the hill. The way that they are, so the way that the scoreboards are in all of these Treyarch games, you can't see the kill deaths for every player. You can see kind of how they did based off of what their damage was. So like on this one, Formal did 4,300 damage. He led the lobby, which means he's that main anchoring AR that's rotating out spawns. So they probably did well. If he had the most damage and if he's the one that's rotating, then they're probably going to win spawns more often than not. And that's a lot of what we saw here. So Scum with 2,900 damage and Dashy with 3,000 damage. But overall, team did really well. They earned spawns. They were able to rotate and pick up rotations. So with that, guys, if you're new around here, this is what I do every single day for the next 8 months of the Black Ops Cold War season. So if you're new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You're going to be getting a video from me every single day. Again, leave a like. It really helps out the channel. And with that, guys, thank you so much. We will see you in tomorrow's upload.